Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Analyst Desk. We are here for a big weekend wrap up in professional sports. We got so many things to go over. It's going to be an exciting time. And we all would appreciate it if you give us a big like and subscribe on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to watch us all here. I'm Dashing Lane Dashko. I'm with Mr. More for Your Money. Woo! And we are here now at the desk to go over what was a very exciting, and we will probably be here for the next 2 years talking about it. One of the most craziest weekends in professional sports, and it's only October, and we're just getting started. We got to talk about the National Football League. We got to talk about the CFL. We got to talk about preseason's over in the NHL. No more practice games. Over. You got to get back to work. We're here to talk about everything. Any sport you want to talk about, let us know. Drop it in the comments. We'll give you. As long as they're professional, just like this. Dan commented, hi, everyone. There was no swearing, no foul language. So we're showing it on the screen. Everything's good here at the Analyst Desk. And we're going to start with Sunday Night Football. The Bills beating, yes, you heard that word right, the New England Patriots. Dan, what's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what happened here. I'm shocked that the Bills did not beat the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots won this game by 3 points, 23-20. And I'm not just shocked about the loss to Buffalo. I'm also shocked about how boring the game was at the first half. First half, the score was only what? 6-3? It was only a couple field goals. I'm like, what's going on here? Usually it's a rivalry game, but the same area of the states, kind of the same division and all of that, it's like they have a rivalry in the past. I know New England's rebuilding, but still, you would think it would amp up some history at least and get a little bit of action here of the prime night Sunday game. And yeah, Buffalo was 4-0 going into this game. Patriots were 500. I thought for sure the Bills were going 5-0. And I'm like, what happened, Mr. Daskell? What happened?
Well, that's the thing about the NFL, right? And people get caught up in these kind of teams. We almost saw it tonight in the OJHL. You never know, right? You got a team that's we were just at a game with the Milton Menace, and they were 8-0-1, taking on a 3-2-1 team and almost lost in overtime. You never know, right? And sometimes you get a team that, coming in, they're 4-0. They think they can win every game, so they're not maybe they're not prepping as serious. Maybe they're kind of lackadaisical. You got the Patriots, and you got Stephon Diggs as well. Stephon Diggs, a former Buffalo Bill. We've talked about him here at the desk as well as being someone who's kind of, he had something to pull. Aaron Rodgers had his game against the Jets. This was kind of Stephon Diggs' chance to kind of get back at the Bills for let him go. And I just saw we got a like somewhere. Thank you for that. Thank you for the love and appreciation. Please drop those likes and subscriptions. But yeah,
it helps a lot. Helps the algorithm. Yes, I was sitting here when the Bills did not resign Diggs a couple of years ago. I know he has a bit of an attitude problem, but he's also been one of my favorite guys. And I love the fact that he's confident and has swagger. And if that's managed the right way, that's a great thing to bring up into a locker room, right?
And we got Jacob Moore, sports analyst. Now, I have kidnapped Jacob Moore, sports analyst. He's not allowed to come on. This is my show. And if you want him to come on, Keith Smith, I want Keith Smith to donate $100 to my email, and we will release it. No, I'm just kidding. Jacob, we all know he's a little busy at the moment. So he's just chatting in like I always do. And we all do that on the desk. If we're away from work or if we are caught up in some fun escapades, we always make sure to come on the desk. So thank you for chiming in once again, Mr. Jacob. And I kind of agree. But again, I'm just going to go back to what I said just a few minutes ago. I think it's one of these teams where they just came in kind of sleepy. And also, what were these white jerseys like? What was going on? Did they think it was snowing and they were going to camouflage in this game or something? Like what was with these? Come on, let's be honest. I'm not a fashion guy or anything. I don't know how you felt about this, But man, those were the ugliest jerseys. I think.
Oh no! Oh, come on, bud. I think we're going to have a little bit of a debate here. I love the white jerseys because the white jersey, white on white with a tad of blue in it, represents those
No.
winters and the whiteouts and all the ice, right? I
And
mean,
yes, Jacobs confirmed he's still at his day job. Yeah, he's got to love the exports. I think the experts, but
yeah, believe it or not, people, we do have lives outside of the show. Believe it, I know, shocking, eh? But it's like we're gonna have a debate here, Mr. Dasco, because I love the extra jersey. Look
oh,
at
I
this
wish we had the
jersey, for
gas.
example.
I wish we had the gas or ass for now. I'm saying 100% ass. These jerseys, those jerseys sucked.
100% gas. I love those jersey. It reminds me of the Blue Jay here Friday night home games, the Toronto night edition, night mode jersey.
Those are cool.
It's like, look, it's cool to have an extra style jersey. And let's be honest, it's a huge money grab, right? These jerseys are going for 200, 300 bucks a pop. And people are lining up to buy Josh Allen whiteout jerseys. I know I'll be grabbing one at some point. You know, they're really, really cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, Buffalo, they have very kind of, I don't want to say boring, but kind of traditional colors of blue and red and everything. So I give them credit for doing something different and having for whiteout. It's known for winter, it's known for snow. I'm surprised they broke out the whiteout jersey so early in the season. I thought maybe this jersey would be left more for a winter game, but of course, then the problem is you won't be able to see the players on the field with all snow on the field and way on the jersey. So maybe that's what they were thinking. I don't know, but
I just thought we could take a look at some of these stats in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Presented by the NFL on Google here, and you just look at right here. You know, 338 yards to the New England Patriots compared to 363 yards to the Bills. So the Bills got more yards. You look at the passing yards, 22 more passing yards for Drake May. And Drake May, thank you. We saw we got another like. Thank you very much. And you know, Drake May he did a better job than Josh Allen technically on the field, but that's also because Stephon Diggs, we'll take a look at his stat line in a minute. But yeah, you got the 22 more passing yards on the field for the Patriots. When the rushing yards, though, you look at James Cook, what a night him and Josh Allen had behind rushing the ball.
I'm so thankful they signed up James Cook. I love this guy.
He had a bit of a weaker game tonight, but I mean, him and Josh Allen definitely, they carried the rock well enough, 118 to 71. So they did aside for the passing yards, they did do better in other areas. Both teams got about 6 yards per play. You look at the first downs, Bills had more.
Actually, penalties are pretty even too. Even their passing yards are pretty even.
I know, and then you look at the Bills. Bills had 4 more first downs. For third down, better on third down, 5 for 9 compared to 3 for 9. No one had any fourth down, and total plays. The Bills had more plays. They had more sacks, 3 more sacks, more
Bills
punts.
have time of possession more too. It's usually equals a win in an NFL game.
If I didn't show you that score and all I showed you was this bottom portion, you would say the Bills won this game handily. And we go back to the comments section for Mr. Jacob Moore. Do we have some worries about Josh Allen back-to-back games with the pick? I don't know. I mean, Allen.
No, I'm still cool with Mr. Allen. He's still the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion. I think depending what they do on deadline and how the rest of the season goes, this could be a big victory year for the Bills, right?
We talk about, you look at the Bills stat line, really, I know it looks bad because you lost to the Patriots, but they really didn't play that bad. Josh Allen, 22 for 31, 253 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had 53 rushing yards, averaging 5.9 on 9 carries. James Cook with 49. Again, a little bit weaker.
It was a little slow. You're right on that. I still love the guy.
You talk about receivers, and we'll get to Connor's comment in 2 seconds here. We got Dalton Kincaid, Shakir, Palmer, Samuel Coleman. And I just want to get to Connor. Thank you for commenting, Connor. And someone posted on Twitter, Buffalo will never win with Allen and McDermott. I think that's a silly statement. I agree. I do agree with that too. I think this team is deeper than what people think. I know everyone says they need more talent on the receiving end. I know you have said that too, but I just disagree with that statement.
I feel like they need that big name receiver.
But look at right here in the receptions. Everyone does their part, right? You got
That's
6
true.
receptions from Kincaid, 6 from Shakir, 2 from Palmer, 2 from 4 from Coleman, 2 from Knox. They're getting it's not the catches right now. And I know this game looks bad because they lost to a weaker team. They lost by a 52-yard field goal. Okay,
Yeah.
let's not act like they got everyone's acting like they got blown out of the water here. This is not a
No,
blowout.
definitely not. It was a
This
close game, but you respect with Buffalo being the best team in the league, arguably,
you look at
and New England Patriots being a 500 team. You expect this game not to be close. We all expected this game to be a blowout, I would think, don't
for
we?
sure. Yeah, and Jacob also commenting saying people also said Hurts and Philly win either. So you know what?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, Dan. We can sit here and argue blue in the face. These guys won't win till they win. Everyone's going to say these comments about every team. They're going to say this about Austin Matthews. They're going to say this about Vladdy Guerrero. They're going to say this about Bo Levi Mitchell. They're going to say this about the Ticats. Once you win, everyone has to shut up, right?
Yeah,
And
Buffalo
we
to
can
see
see
if they would.
Connor and Jacob. Jacob should probably finish his work, but I see Connor and Jacob fighting. We meant to get them in the ring and duke it out because, of course,
That's a
this
WWE
guy's an
style.
Eagle fan. Little all love here at the analyst desk. But yeah, you got Trayvon Henderson. They didn't even run the ball that well. And here comes
No.
Keith Smith. I wonder what she has to say here. So let's show her comment. But yeah, I think I found the Argos and the Eskies team of the NFL. It's the Broncos. Yeah, we'll talk about them.
Whoa,
Yeah, they lost
interesting.
today, but they are making it close. They do not look like a 2-3 team at all. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Eagles today. We'll talk about that game a little bit later, but yeah, just kind of go in. We'll talk about that game up next, Key. But yeah, just this is what the stat line I cannot believe. Stephon Diggs, 146 reception
Yeah, he
yards
had an
and
amazing game, and
10 catches, bro. This guy came out to play.
I'm not surprised at all that Diggs would come out. I mean, like I said, I loved Diggs back when he was a Bill. I was so upset that they got rid of him. As like I understand Buffalo has a unit and all the power to them. It's a great story, kind of like a Walt Disney movie, but you still need someone to catch the 50-50 balls, in my point.
Big Ink want to sleep lane? I don't know what that means, but sure. I never sleep. I'm always on StreamYard.
Well, he's here on the decks, bro.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're not what funny? Whoa, Jacob's
Oh,
catching some strays here at the death. He's not even here to defend himself, people.
oh. Well, I
Please
think he's
help.
here in the comments, bro. He is putting in some overtime in his day job, but he can still comment on the side. So we're going to see some fights here in the comments. Nothing wrong with that, everybody. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
what a
with that.
crazy game. And unfortunately, the Bills, I mean, that's not a big deal. I don't think it's really going to matter in the standings there.
No, it's not a matter of standings, but it's just a supply point, and it's just scary that you had a 500 team and you made them win over 52-yard field goal. In my opinion, they sort of blew out the New York Patriots, right? So it's a little concerning. It's not the end of the world. I'm not saying that it is,
I
but it's a
just want to
little
say, Dan, 1 second. I
concerning.
just want to let this person know any more rude comments about calling people overweight, we will ban you. So I don't know what you're trying to say there, man. But if you just want to let you know, we're polite and friendly here at the desk. So any more comments, and we will have to ban you. So I just want to let you know you get one warning, and that's it.
Come on, I'm fat, really?
No, I was just hey, man, we're here. We're having a good time at the desk.
That's
I
right.
just want to let people know. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Please keep the comments respectful. Let's keep them family friendly. Let's not offend anyone's size or anything. I'm just giving you a warning. Next comment, no, not so Mr. Nice Guy, but
Yeah. You can go on another show and do that.
I know.
Yes. Oh, good. Oh, good. But yeah, I still think going into a big playoff one with the Super Bowl, you're going to need someone that catches that big 50-50 ball, right? And hopefully, I'm kind of predicting this could happen in trade deadline with getting Hill out of the Dolphins possibly into the Bills. I would like to see that happen. But they had Diggs' attitude, but in my opinion, is still missing some shoes there with Diggs not in that lineup.
Okay, so he didn't see. He was making a South Park joke. Okay, all good. I just want to make sure. All good, brother. I just wanted to make sure. You never know. Some people say some crazy things on here, so I apologize if you meant it as just as a South Park joke. So all good, brother. But yeah, let's actually talk about that Eagles game here, and I'll show the stats
Yes.
once again. Let's get into that game because Kia was commenting about it. So let's
Because
talk
we're
about
so busy on the decks here, we're getting overweight over it.
right.
Yeah.
And let's just take a look at this
Watch
game.
every
And I
sports.
just cannot believe here. The
Yeah, what
Eagles
a shocker this was.
had a 17-3 lead and blew an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. Now, what happened? You talk about the Bills. I think this is more embarrassing than anything here.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Mr. Dasco. Just how it happened. And funny enough, going into this week, the Bills and Eagles are both the best teams at 4-0. We're the only two teams that didn't lose a game all year. And here they are now tied again at 4-1. So they're still the best two teams in the league. That's
Yeah, you look at this. You
kind
look
of
at the
interesting.
stat line. We have not talked about the Blue Jays yet. We are going to get into Key. We got a lot of things. I'll just show Key's comments. Whenever we talk about the Blue Jays, we have not talked about
That's
the
why I'm
Blue
wearing a
Jays.
Blue Jays jersey.
But we will get into the Blue Jays. We just started about 16 minutes ago. So Key, we're going to be here all night. So you might have to stay up all night. You may have to be prepared out there. We got a long night ahead of us. But yeah,
Yeah,
big
that was a
game here for the
crazy
Eagles. I'm
weekend.
not sure really what happened. Jalen Hurts, he was having a good game too. 23 for 38. 280 yards, two passing touchdowns. Bo Nix passed for 242, one touchdown. Saquon Barkley, you want to talk about someone who really
Oh, he did worse
underperformed
than
it.
Cook.
Yeah, only 30 yards on 6 carries. That is not something you expect from
No.
Mr. Saquon Barkley's.
No, like he was MVP of the Super Bowl there. In my opinion, probably the MVP of his whole Eagles team, right? Possibly the league. The only one, maybe more of MVP than Barkley is Josh Allen, debatably. So for him having 30 yards is very quiet night. That's
Yeah.
very, especially in an NFL game too, right? The NFL game being kind of more of a shorter field and having 4 downs is known as a running game more so than a passing game like the CFL, right? So to have someone under 50 yards in an NFL game, especially an MVP running back, is very unusual.
Yep. And she says, I'm sure up for it. Nothing I'd rather watch into the night. Of course, he wants to watch us all night. So we got to make sure we go for 7 hours, Dan.
7 hours. Holy cow. Let's go.
And you look at the
What
score.
do you got? The NHL entry draft all over again.
Yeah. And you take a look here, it was like 17-3 when Barkley got a 47 touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. And then just that fourth quarter comeback there. Dobbins with a 2-yard rush and Evan Ingram with 11-yard pass from Bo Nix. And then Will Lutz, the 36 field goal with a minute and 11 left to go in the game to ice it. Wow.
Yeah, very unusual as a 4-point spread because you don't have the rules in the CFL in the NFL way you do in the CFL. So you can't really get one. The only way you can get 1 point is extra point after a touchdown. So the fact that they lost by 4, that's an unusual point spread. So if someone had that on their gambling cards tonight, they did pretty well.
Yeah, and I think we usually on Sunday, usually Sunday at noon, we usually do our NFL speed run. Now we weren't able to do that today, but I thought since a lot of people, not always loving the NFL I thought we'd go through the speed run and we'll look at all the scores and we'll quickly go through each score and then we'll move on to some CFL content football, which we all know everybody loves. So we'll just take a minute or two and speed run these scores. And if anyone wants to talk about any of these games, just kind of let us know and we'll go back to it. But let's thought we'd run through this quickly. So quickly.
Ooh, 49ers, nice.
49ers, 26-23 over Rams. Vikings, 21 over 17
Vikings.
Browns. That was early in the morning. I actually watched that game. It was a crazy game.
Oh, in London, yes.
Yeah. Cowboys, 32. Jets, 20.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Saints beat the Giants,
the Saints got a win.
26-14. Big win. The Colts smashed the Raiders.
My buddy Gabe will be happy with the Colts there.
What's my favorite team? I don't honestly for the NFL. I don't have a favorite team. It's the one sport that doesn't that Dan and Jacob know. It's the one sport where I don't scream into my computer profusely when a team loses. It's actually the one sport I can just sit back on a Sunday, have a nice Coke or have a slice of pizza, maybe even a beer if I'm not going anywhere, and just kind of sit and watch some interesting NFL. It's one of my favorite sports to watch because I don't have a team. The only football team I do cheer for is the Hamilton Ticats, and it's been 1999 that I've been having to wait for them to win. So we'll see. But yeah, no,
You don't want to smash up a beautiful new Kia, right? So you gotta drink responsibly.
yeah. Okay, and we'll continue on here. The Panthers 27 over the Dolphins 24.
Ooh, the Panthers. Wow, West Pole Dolphins can't get anything done.
No, they're struggling.
Yeah.
Okay, and then where was I? Sorry. Oh yeah, the Broncos obviously 21 over 17 for the Eagles. 44 Texans over the 10 for the Ravens. The Ravens got smoked today.
Oh,
44-10.
yeah. What
The
happened here?
Titans
Well,
beat
Lamar Jackson, I think, was injured,
he
correct?
was, yes.
Yes. Yeah. That sucks for
And
them.
Key loving that CFL. She's waiting for us to get to that CFL
Yeah.
content.
We're gonna ver.
And Logan, a buddy I know in high school, we met at Fortino's one time. This guy's great. He says, "Right on, man. I'm
Nice.
going to Ticats game next Saturday. This is their year. I really hope you can help them out, Logan. Cheer them on like I would. You better bring all the best chance. You better look up all the chance because if I was there, I'd be. I was there when we were watching the BC Lions. I was like, Mister Clipboard. You got to go ham if you're going to Ticats game. Make me proud. If I can't be there, go make me there in spirit, man. Help me
Well,
out
we
there.
might be at the Ticats games, so watch out on our social media.
They might be. Well, maybe I could come along. Who knows?
Yeah, come along, man. We had fun, the three of us last
Yeah,
time.
we did. Titans beat the Cardinals 22-21.
Tight
The
game.
Buccaneers and Seahawks had a bit of a NFL duel, 38-35.
I picked the Seahawks on that one. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Lions beat the Bengals 37-24.
Oh no, the Chargers lost. Oh,
The
Commanders.
Chargers.
Now got to
Steve
maybe
Smith,
Mr. Daniel's starting to come back there.
Since 1999, I never signed up to feel old tonight. In fact,
Ouch.
you mean you were
Ouch.
Keith Smith with the chirps already.
Ouch.
JK, LOL, you're younger than me, but I do feel old. Yeah, I was only 4 years old when the Ticats won their last Grey Cup, and I feel like I'll never see it again. You know what they always say? When the Leafs win the Grey Cup, it was gray and white, and the next time they'll still be gray and white. But yeah, 2 more games to go over here, and then Commanders beat the Chargers 27-10, and then of course the Patriots beat the Bills. Now we can do a prediction for Monday Night Football. We got the Chiefs versus the Jaguars. Who are you taking? They say Mahomes might not play due to a groin injury. He's going to try to tough it out. But who are you picking, Dan? Who you got on this?
You know what? I'm going to go off the board here because why not? I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like this whole Taylor Swift wedding thing. I'm tired of hearing about it. So, and the Jaguars. Oh, I'm actually shocked the Jaguars are 3-1. So maybe I'm
They're
not
terrible
making this
year.
pick.
Trevor Lawrence.
They have that good quarterback, Lance or whatever, right?
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he's all right.
Lawrence, that's a beautiful hair. Everybody had beautiful hair.
He does have that soccer mom hair. Yes, he does.
I'm going to go with the Jags of this one.
I honestly, I don't think they will win because I think any game Patrick Mahomes is in, I think he makes a difference. If he's not playing, I feel the Chiefs will have a tougher time. So it's kind of hard where I sit right now. If I had to pick based on who's playing that he hasn't been taken out, I would take the Chiefs because I just think Patrick Mahomes is on a different level than Trevor Lawrence. But if Patrick Mahomes cannot play or can only play limited, I could definitely see Jacksonville taking the home victory here. So it'd be a tough game to pick if I had to bet on it. But yeah, I'm leaning Chiefs, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes leaves this game early and has to sit out. The Jaguars.
Now, question for you, Mr. Dasko, because you're Mr. Research and know everything. Who is the backup quarterback for the KC?
It's bad. I don't
remember you said it was bad. I just can't remember who. So it must be some nobody if I don't know.
It was Gardner Minshew the second, and he's terrible. Yeah, he is worse than Jake Mayer.
Really?
I think Jake Mayer would be a better quarterback.
Wow. Okay.
And
Oh.
Dan Keith Smith says, "Me too, Dan. Me too."
Yeah, like, holy cow.
Yeah, like I don't know, they have a really weak backup quarterback here.
Mhm.
But now, I think we're kind of done with the NFL because let's be honest, the NFL we all love talking about it, but it doesn't quite get the most attention. And I think we should move on to something that does get a lot of attention, and that is the week of the CFL. We haven't really been able to go over it, so I think we start with the very first game here, which was the Rough Riders versus the Red Blacks here.
That's right. Yes, that was a painful game to watch if you're an Ottawa
Yeah, that was
fan,
fair.
as now they are officially eliminated from the playoffs. What I am really surprised about that game is I'm really surprised how, let's be honest, how bad Drew Brown played. I think he threw what, 4 interceptions in the first half. And it's like the other thing I'm surprised about is if Drew Brown was struggling that bad for whatever reason, don't forget he was 2-7 this year as a starter. Was had a really rough year, let's be honest. Why not put in Dustin Crumback? Because the Crumback was 2-3 as a starter. And once the Crumback got into the game, he played pretty well, almost 100 yards and just over a quarter and so, no picks or anything like that. I think if he started the game or got into the game earlier, I think this would have been a lot closer game because it wasn't like Saskatchewan completely bulldozed their Ottawa. They were up at some points. Ottawa made a little bit of a comeback when Quebec got into the game. So I think if Quebec started, I think this game would have been a lot more interesting. I think Saskatchewan still would have won, but then, they wanted to eliminate Ottawa. Saskatchewan wanted Quint's home field. So Saskatchewan Quint's home field was the big victory for them, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly think, maybe you can chime in here, Mr. Dasco. I honestly think this might have been the last game for Drew Brown as a Red Black.
It definitely could be. I know we talked about it a little bit briefly, but just now we would go over all the games. But yeah, bit of a rough game for the Red Blacks. Not really sure what's headed in for their future, but we'll see what happens. But another team that has a bit of uncertainty, and you guys were at this game, so you can talk a little bit more about it than I can, is the Ticats versus the Argos. And I know that you and your brother, so I'm going to put you full screen for a minute to talk
Yeah.
about the game between the Oski Wee Wee Ticats and the Argos.
Well, hopefully no one's trying to sweep in your household, Mr. Dasco, because if they did, you just woke them up with some awesome CFL chants, so that is awesome. Yeah, we were at the Argos and Ticats game. Unfortunately, the Argos are now mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, which I'm not, to be honest, I'm not totally surprised. Jacob's been sitting here for weeks on the deck saying, oh, they're going to make it. They can still make it. I'm like, no, bro. They are done. And now they are officially done. That is it. What was really tough for this game was Nick Arbuckle getting injured. He was struggling in the pocket doing a calf injury on his first snap. And because of that, he got sacked. And as he got sacked, his tweaked his shoulder. So now he has a Pat Quinn would put it. Rest in peace, Pat Quinn. He's got an upper and lower body injury. But I think before the injuries here, Nick Arbuckle was on pace for an MOP season. So call me crazy. I love Chad Kelly, but I think Jacob might have a point, and the Argos might go with Nick Arbuckle as their starting quarterback next season.
Yeah, it's hard. Nick Arbuckle, he didn't do too well because, of course, he had that injury there. But and you hope he's going to be okay for next season. But yeah, Nick Arbuckle, Jared Dagey had to play most of that game.
Oh my
30.
gosh. Okay. I am so angry. You can probably put me on full screen for this one.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. No offense to Jared Dagey. I'm sure he's a nice enough guy. He cannot throw a ball. He should not be in the CFL. And if he comes back as Argo next year, I originally said when I sell my season ticket, which I never would sell my season ticket, but honestly, I would be furious as an Argo fan if they bring back Jerry Diggy. He lost that game. I don't care what Jacob said about the PI. In my opinion, he lost that game, and he lost this game at Hamilton too. I know he had some moments. I know he flew for 200 yards or whatever it was, and that's so cute, very cute. But any day, he cannot win a game. He cannot throw a ball. cannot really won. I don't see the point of this guy at all. Like, at least with Cameron Dukes, he did win a couple games.
Yeah, for sure.
Cameron Dukes is a way better first string quarterback than this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
not happy. I'm not gonna yell as much as Lane does when he's unhappy because at the end of the day, I still love my Argos. I'm very thankful for this team. They have won two Grey Cups in 3 years. So I'm not gonna flip out like I do with Maple Leafs, but I am not happy about getting booted out by Hamilton.
Yeah, for sure, right? And you
Mhm.
talk about Bo Levi Mitchell. He didn't have the greatest game. Still threw a pick there for a bit,
Yes.
but 18 for 25, 320 passing yards. So a pretty good game for Mr. Bo Levi Mitchell.
I mean, I thought Bo Levi Mitchell looked really good. The only concern I would have as a Cat fan, and maybe Mr. Daskell can chime on this more, that the fact that Hamilton let the Argos stick around. I mean, there was a while where Hamilton was up by 23 points, and then the Argos kind of made it into only a 10-point spread. Now they end up winning by 18 points, but the fact that the Argos, let's be honest, the Argos are not very good this year. And McManus got injured, Arbuckle got injured. So without McManus and without Arbuckle, you were able to let the Argos climb into within a 10-point difference, and that's a little bit of a red flag for me.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of those points were in garbage time, but
Yes,
yeah, it did get kind of dicey there in that third quarter there. 13 points to 0 for the Argos, but then Hamilton kind of got it back and he did kind of blow away with it. But I don't know, sometimes about this Hamilton team, they're weird. Like they'll be doing so well, and you think, oh, this game's going so well for them, and then all of a sudden it starts to not to. But still not too bad. Greg Bell, 76 rushing yards.
yeah,
Brendan O'Leary Orange, a name you don't really hear a lot from the
he had a
Ticats.
good game.
Yeah, 111 yards on
He
just
had a
two
great game.
catches.
Yeah,
Keandre Smith, who calls himself the best Canadian receiver of all time, 98 receiving yards.
yeah,
Kenny Lawler, not he's been off and on this year. Got 2 touchdowns,
he had a
63
good
yards on
game.
3 catches. Not too bad.
He had a good game. I gotta say, I was not sold on Blake Bell last year. I was not sold on Blake Bell at the beginning of the season, but I did go to the Cat game with Mr. Daskell O'Hare and Jacob against BC. And I was at the Cat game a couple weeks ago when they played Edmonton, I believe. And, I saw Blake Bell again versus the Argos. And I think Greg Bell's getting a little bit better. I'm starting to feel a little more confident with him as a running back going into a playoff one.
Yeah, for sure. Greg Bell's one of those weird guys for the Ticats too, right? Like sometimes they use him pretty like in the lineup. They'll use him quite often, and sometimes they barely feels like they barely know he's there. And I
Yeah.
and I kind of like when I don't know if that has to do with the offensive line just not always having the right guys up there to block to give them the room. I've always felt the Ticats, in my personal opinion, have always really struggled to be a running team. It
Yes.
feels like they're already a passing team.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now we did have Buckworth for a little while. Like Buckworth was kind of, I would say, in that franchise category of a running back. But besides of Buckworth, I haven't really thought of a running back recently. I know Banks would sometimes play as a running back. He used to have a wide receiver. I love Brandon Banks. I was cool when he had to come over to the Argos to get this Grey Cup. I loved him as Argo. He retired after that, but he had some swagger. I know he was cocky. I always liked him, kind of like a CFL version of Diggs. He was a pretty cool guy. But the Argos have built on with legendary running backs like Pinball Clemens and AJ Olette and Andrew Harris and Sean Avery, back in the early 2000s. They always had these legendary running backs and quarterbacks too, versus the Ticats have had not so much legendary running backs, but really good legendary quarterbacks like Bo Levi Mitchell. And when they did make it a back-to-back Grey Cups, they had quarterback A and quarterback B versus quarterback 1 and 2. And yeah, I mean, they had Henry Barris at one point. They've always more built on a big floor a big gain throwing quarterback like Bo Levi Mitchell, for example, right?
And Keith draws a comment here. Bo is always so explosive. Just sucks that
Yes.
he does throw interceptions though. But for the fans of the show who don't know, Bo is my favorite QB, and he graduated from Keys High School.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah, Bo Levi Mitchell, he does things really well, and sometimes he's definitely a veteran of the game, right? Was a Calgary Stampeder for very many years, and
Yeah.
it was definitely exciting for the Ticat fans to know that when he got here, we didn't really have we had the Zach Collaros situation kind of blow up in our face where we traded Zach Collaros and then he became one of the best QBs in the CFL, and we really couldn't get him to that potential, and then we couldn't. We were struggling to find a really good QB. We had like, those odd guys here and these tried to find Jarazon Mazzoli and Dane
Mhm.
Evans, and we really
Yep.
couldn't find that steady quarterback to kind of
Right.
carry us and get us in the result that we wanted. And then all of a sudden, Bo Levi Mitchell just pops up out of nowhere. We have a franchise quarterback that can actually put together some wins. We just haven't really been able to kind of get there. But we have the quarterback now that I think that in 1999 is a possibility because of a guy like Bo Levi Mitchell.
I really do. I like, I look at Hamilton Quince the playoff spot now. We're just fighting with Montreal to get the home playoffs all the way to the Grey Cup. And now it's just a point. I think Hamilton can get through the East. I do. I think they can beat Montreal. I think depending who the crossover team, you know, I think crossover teams will be more of a threat, to be honest. Like, can the Ticats make it to the Grey Cup? And depending who they face, can they win the Grey Cup? But, we've seen this team up and down this year. We've seen this team getting a little cocky this year and losing leagues, like how they almost, blew a league to the Argos a couple, on Saturday, right? So, I don't know. But if they can stay calm, stay collective, not get too confident, not get too cocky, yeah, I think this Ticat team is really good.
Yeah, and Keith Smith just commenting, yes, you did have a, you just forgot. He's
Yeah.
talking about us having Zach Lars. Yeah, it's kind of a
I,
weird thing.
I, I forgot about Zach Claros too. He was a veteran long ball quarterback as well. Yeah, it was a very quick stint.
Says, but it's okay. Your smile gets you away with it. Yeah, I do have
Nice.
a lovely smile. Thanks, Keith.
You do.
But yeah, just but yeah, the Ticats, whatever they it wasn't the greatest game, but they definitely did go into BMO Field and beat the Argos, and we need a little bit of payback from that Labor Day Classic there, where you guys kind of
Yeah.
won it on the last minute. But Dan, I want to ask you before we move on. You're the big Argos fan, and a lot of people, you were kind of you and Jacob were kind of defending the Argos for a long time. I don't blame you. You got to stick with your team. But now that the season has come to an end, where do you like? If you could name one thing off the top of your head without thinking, Where's one thing you think it went wrong this year for the Toronto Argos? I'm gonna put you full screen for that.
Wow. Great question, Mr. Daskell, and not giving it much time. The salt in the wound is still stinging right now. Like, I would say the biggest problem for the Argos that made them not make the playoffs this year started right from the beginning of the season and didn't get really solved until the end was their running back situation. I was
Mhm.
so happy when they signed Kadeem Carey in the offseason and then so upset when they cut him. I know he broke his leg. I get it. But if he was dressed as an Argo, maybe he would have not broken his leg. Like, we don't know. The other thing I was shocked about was Kevin Brown. I was so excited when they brought in Kevin Brown. I saw him in the preseason game without his shirt on. He looked very good. He looked very muscular. He looked ready to go. I thought for sure he would stay as Argo. I know he wasn't fantastic in the game with so that he dressed. He only got 2 or 3 yards of carry, but it's like, he only played a couple games. He's a veteran running back. Give him a chance. And then we had that other running back who got injured in Ottawa with the eye. I forget his name by the life of me. He looked good in Ottawa. We were at that game when the Argos were in Ottawa, and he got injured. He got the finger in the eye, essentially, what happened. And he couldn't come back. And then I'm really disappointed with Mac Mahan. He's a nice guy, I've heard, but I really expected him to step it up another notch this season when all these lever running backs did not work out. And Mark Mahan did not step it up. I mean, we only saw him against the Ticats this game. We only saw him come in for one carry, right? And you would think if he wasn't going to step up in the running back, maybe he could play in the special team, give Grant a break on a couple of reps, maybe, and he didn't do well there either. Maybe he could be as a wide receiver or like a fullback kind of thing. He didn't play well in those positions. I think Mac Mahan is not coming back as Argo next year. I think they have to let him go. And the only bright spot for running back for the Argos this year, besides the guy who got injured, I'm so sorry I can't remember your name. Jacob will know it if he was there, but he can remind me next episode. Was Brown. Brown came in
Yeah.
about four games ago, and rookie, and yeah, he looked a little dicey his first game or so. But even in the game against the Ticats, he played well, and I think Brown is a bright spot for the Argos for next season as a running back. But the Argos, like we mentioned, Hamilton is a team that can win just off a quarterback. We always built the team like that, having a Hall of Famer quarterback that full 60-yard bombs. We had that with Chad Kelly. Even Nick Arbuckle, we had it with too. But the Argos have always built a team as your star quarterback, your star running back, and your star wide receiver. And we did not. We had Nick Arbuckle, who turned to be a star quarterback. We had Coxie, that was a star receiver until he got injured. And then once he got injured, Herslow stepped in that spot really well. He made highlights around the whole league. But then until we started winning at the end of the season there with Brown, we didn't have that running back for, I would say, the first half of the season. So if you go back and look at it, yeah, I get Jacob's point. He's argued that the O-line was bad this year, and it was. Okay, I totally get that. But I still think the biggest problem for the Argos was their running back. I really hope Brown comes back and he plays well. But
then here's the thing. You know what? I know what you're saying, and to an extent, I took over the screen because I'm taking over the screen now.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I don't know. You guys, you can disagree with me all you want, and that's fine. I'm not as big as an Argo fan, so I'm not even going to pretend that I am. But personally, between you and me, I really think where you guys went wrong, and I think you guys maybe I think you guys focused too much on Chad Kelly and not really knowing. Because hear me out here, right? Like,
Yep.
You guys kind of, even though you knew Chad Kelly wasn't going to play, like I remember back in week 1 and even in preseason, we were talking, and Jacob was like, Chad Kelly's not playing for 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. I don't know what they're, and you guys just kept trying to like run this Chad Kelly playbook, and everything was Chad Kelly this and Chad Kelly this, and when's Chad Kelly coming back, and when's Chad Kelly? I think your team put too much focus into Chad Kelly and not having a safety net and Nick Arbuckle and not really trusting the guy that came in to win the Grey Cup for you, when you could have actually tried to make a playbook. You had a lot of time to know this guy's not coming back here. You need to make something hit, right? You need to accept that Nick Arbuckle's here and you can't do anything about it. And I just think that's where your mistake was, because you just kind of kept rolling on with this Chad Kelly and the distraction of him. Well, Nick Arbuckle's sitting here like, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I could be wrong. I just thought it was when it's
no. I don't think you're wrong. I think
because
love
because you notice when the Argos finally woke up and said, let's run a Nick Arbuckle playbook. This team went from being dismantled and being frustrated and being kind of all over the place and having fights and having the coach go out there in the locker room. All of a sudden, this team started to look like a unit. I can't believe I'm saying this. But this team started to look complete again. It started to look like a team that was going to come out of the Grim Reaper's soul here and make a deep comeback and win a Grey Cup out of nowhere. It looked like a miracle run that we were watching. Like Nick Arbuckle started putting up 300, 400 yards pass. You guys started blowing teams out of the water. You blew the BC Lions out of the water. You come back. You beat Hamilton in their home turf. You guys having some explosive wins, but I just think it was too little, too late.
I 100% agree with you. I love Chad Kelly. I'm being a huge fan of his since he was a backup in Mikhail Bethel-Thompson. I love his swagger. I got his jersey. I love the guy. But yeah, I do agree with you, Mr. Dasko. That was a huge part of the drama in the dressing room. There was a lot of drama in the dressing room, a lot of drama on the sideline if you were watching games. We sit right behind the Argos bench and the sidelines, right? So we notice drama when it happens. There was a lot of it. That's unusual for the Argos. They're usually very tight as a unit. They usually don't have drama. And I do agree with you. They undervalued Nick Arbuckle. Nick Arbuckle came in, and not just the team, but the fans too. I've seen over Facebook, and Argo fan pages, we had Jack Kelly, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't Nick Arbuckle's fault. You couldn't act so any better. I mean, the time he was healthy, he was either 102 in all quarterback stats the whole year he was healthy, right? I mean, yeah, there was that one game in Montreal. Yeah, he could have played better. But besides of that game, they were that good. And yeah, they had the confidence in Nick Arbuckle and got him won his book right from the beginning of the season. I think I would have made a difference for sure.
Well, you know who is running their playbook really well right now? And you know who the fans, I bet you have a lot of confidence, except for Mr. Man Dan, more for your money. The BC Lions, because
That's right.
The BC Lions are, I don't know what's happened to them in the last few weeks, but I know every time I say it, Jacob and Dan both laugh profusely like they've heard the funniest joke they've ever heard in their lives. But I'm going to say it again. I cannot, and I know I'm going to get a whoa in the comments, and I'm going to get, why is he here? This guy's crazy. I'm saying it here on the desk, and I'm saying it without Jacob, so he can't give me the circus book. The BC Lions are the best team in the CFL right now. 100%. 100%. No,
not
they are.
Like that.
No, the BC Lions are better.
Well, as soon as Jacob is back from his day job, which will be probably the next episode, I'm sure he'll come back up with his power rankings, right?
You look ever since that Argos loss, ever since they had those those losses, right? They had 38-27 Red Blacks, 52-23, 27-22. Like, this team has just been on a roll lately. And then they've won like 1, 2, 3, 4 wins in a row here. Insert clown book. It's Montreal. Yeah, you can make a good point of that. Davis Alexander, ever since he's come back. I think it's between Montreal and BC right now. I just feel like BC, everyone's been dogging them, and I get it because I know everyone wants to hate on Nathan Rourke because he says stupid comments. But, I just was looking at it, and, Nathan Rourke, you got to give that guy some credit. Even though I laughed at him being there, he set the CFL record just a day ago, and I was going to show that picture here, so let me pull that back up here.
I get what you're saying, Mr. Dasko. Right now, on paper, the BC Lions could debatably be the best team in the CFL. I just don't think Nathan Rourke has what it takes to win a Grey Cup. And for that reason, I say they're not the best because he hasn't stepped up in those big games.
Well, he may not step it up in the big game, but he's definitely got something going on. One day ago, Nathan Rourke has set a single-season Canadian record with 4,170 passing yards this season. And if you look at all the time passing leaders, he's already passed Gary Dadalito there on the third. And he's so young in his career. It's not hard to think that he couldn't catch Russ Jackson at 24,000. That's a long ways away, and we don't know. But I'm just saying.
Let's be honest here, Mr. Dasko. If he didn't spend, 3 seasons in the NFL holding a clipboard, or I guess 4 seasons or whatever it was, he would have been a lot closer.
He agrees with me. We should throw him. It's like a Christmas. I don't know what's going on today.
Christmas in October. We're going to skip over Halloween, skip Thanksgiving, right to Christmas. There we go.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, I'm just saying we're skipping Thanksgiving. I wanted my turkey dinner, man.
I know. I don't want to skip. That was you. I wanted Christmas. I don't want to skip Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving.
No, I want my turkey dinner.
I know. There was a turkey bowl in BC, right? They had their turkey out there. They were eating turkey on the air.
I know what I'm saying sounds crazy. I'm just saying when you really look at it, right? Like this team, they had 2 bad losses. They got blown out to Toronto. They had that
Mhm.
brutal blow at the X there, and then
Yeah.
they kind of got their butts kicked by Ottawa. But since then, this team had a defense problem, and they couldn't stop people from scoring on them like it was crazy. It was like
You
a
know what?
free throw. It was like Oprah. It was like going to see Oprah Winfrey. It's like, well, you get a touchdown, and you get a touchdown, and you get a
That
touchdown.
crazy episode. That was so fake.
But
But
no, but you know what I'm saying, right? It was crazy. Like they couldn't stop any team that would go for touchdowns. Right? It was just crazy. But I think ever since then, that don't know what happened on the defensive there. I feel like it's really woken up. Like you look against the Calgary Stampeders, who have just fallen off a cliff. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll dig
well,
into
I
them
was
in a
just going
minute.
to say
But
quickly about the BC before we move on to Calgary. I hate to add salt in your loon, Mr. Daskell, but you did it to mine. I'll do it to yours. I think the game that changed the BC Lions season was that overtime win against Hamilton, the game you're at.
yeah, it did wake them
That's
up.
when BC really started looking better.
No, it's true. I agree with that. The
Yeah.
Sandman has actually come at me, but I'm glad to hang out for a little bit. He's going to bed. Oh, she can't leave us. I thought she was staying up all night, but
That's
I guess it's just you and me now, Dan. But yeah, no, I agree.
okay. Bye
No,
bye, Keith.
no, I totally agree with you. Like as much as it really made me cry. I cried the entire way home while Dan and Jacob drove me home to at least to the mall to get my car. But
That's
yeah,
fine.
no, I can't argue with Nathan Work. This guy, for everything. Like I said it last. I've said this a million times. I feel like I've a broken record. I just feel like no matter how many stupid things he says, and I agree that he does say some really stupid things, but he backs it up sometimes, and he plays pretty. Oh, he plays really well on the field, right? He at the end of the day, he's a showman, right? Like he's worth a $20 ticket. He's worth a $40 ticket. I don't care what anyone says. I
Oh,
would
for
pay
sure.
$40 to watch Nathan Work play because he's just that much fun to watch. When I go to see him, he puts on a show. His performance and his ability as an athlete to go out there and make the plays he makes, he's
Mhm.
worth a $40 ticket. And here he is again. They're beating up on the Calgary Stampeders. Just cruising. It's not that even hard to believe that BC doesn't finish the season in second in the West, coming all the way from being almost out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
what a shocker that is. Oh
they've
my
they've
goodness.
they've almost passed Calgary. And you look at this. 414. Yeah, he's thrown two interceptions, but 414 yards against that Calgary Stampeders defense. Four
Yeah, that's a
tutties.
good defense too.
Yeah, it's not a joke. And he rushed for 22 yards, hooked up Keon Hatcher for 112 yards and 7 receptions. Got Cody for 99 yards and 7 receptions. Got Butler for 97 yards. McKinnis for 61 on 2 catches. Like just
Yeah.
it's just and Nathan Work actually did say another thing controversial, which I don't know why they put a microphone in this guy's mouth, but they did. I don't know what it is. Just so much. I don't know. I bet you whoever works the games and Nathan Work, they're like jackpot. I'm gonna go run over my microphone, be like Nathan Work. What do you want? Let me ask you a question. Say something stupid. But even he's like, we have the best team in the CFL. He actually said that. He's like, we're the most balanced team. We don't have a weakness. I'm like, well, I wouldn't say that yet.
Yeah. You haven't wake up yet, buddy.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
mean, I get what you and Jacob are saying, right? Like he's had the best. You can't really say he's done it till he's done it. When we talked about it in the show, right? Everyone's gonna say you can't do it till you did it, and
what?
Nathan Work hasn't done it, right? Nathan Work has failed at his 1 or 2 tries that he's had to win a Grey Cup. Yeah, sure, he does this in the regular season, whereas in the playoffs, I do agree with that to an extent. If you're gonna bag William Nylander and you're gonna blame William Matthews, you got to say the same thing about Nathan Work. I agree
100%.
with that. I'm just saying, I think this year we are seeing a different Nathan Work, or maybe even close to what we saw a few years ago, where I feel like he's kind of earning that respect back as one of the most elite quarterbacks in the CFL. Where I feel like coming into this year, I remember we did our quarterback ranking, we had him towards tier 2, maybe tier 3. I think he's definitely in that tier 1 conversation as of right now. He's
I
a
would
tier
agree
1
with that. Yes.
quarterback.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. He's really
It's got to be. It's like him. I would put me. I'd definitely put Davis Alexander. It's like him, Davis Alexander, Bo Levi, Nick Arbuckle,
yeah.
Trevor Harris. Probably It's probably those are the 5 guys in there, and then it's like probably Vernon Adams. I think actually has dropped. And why don't we take a look at
Yeah.
the and while we're talking about him, let's take a look at the Calgary Stampeders.
Right, 100%. We got to get in Calgary. I am shocked that
So
Calgary has fell apart, and I hate to say it, but they got a chance of missing the playoffs at this point.
so since September 1st, where they laid a ferocious beating of 28-7. Now going into that game, they had a 3-game winning streak after they got blown up by the Red Blacks on the 31st. They beat the Blue Bombers 28-27 on August 9th. Then they had August 23rd. They beat 32-15 the Rough Riders. And then they blew the doors off of Edmonton and made Edmonton look like a regulation team. And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, this is one bad game." The Stampeders have been up and down, but they figured if they've won 3 straight, they're winning games left and right.
Mhm.
Well, then a week later, not even a week later, 5 days later, they lose to the Elks 31-19, and I believe this was the game. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That VA got pulled. Is that or was that the
Yes,
game
I
after?
believe that was the
Or
game
was that the
too.
BC game?
Yes, exactly. And he never really recovered. And we were talking about this at the time. Why did Dickerson do that? You guys have some quarterbacks like maybe York or Bo Levi Mitchell. They get kind of cocky and they need to be like, okay, settle down, sit down, take it easy. But Whereas Jr. is not like that. He's a veteran guy. He's a leadership guy. And he took it very personally when he
Yeah.
got pulled. He wouldn't even take his helmet off on the sideline. He was
And
very upset. And he hasn't really recovered
no, he hasn't.
since
And you
that. And I remember going into the CFL and going into this season and free agents this winter and everything. I predicted that Calgary was going to be one of the best teams of the year with the big offseason they got with VA
excuse me.
and getting flow from the Argos to the offensive line, right? They were really, really good. Big plays, getting Wimes to play with Adams, and it's not working so far. And now they're at the point where if a crossover situation happens, they might miss the playoffs. I hate to say it. It's
Yeah.
literally that bad.
And you look and you go back, so that's the game, and then you look, they get blown up by the Lions 52-23 in an ugly beating 13 days later after a bye where you think, oh, they have a bye, maybe they can figure it out. Nope, they come back and get smoked by Nathan Work and his clipboard. They took a clipboard right to the face, more like a WWE. It was like a boom,
Yeah, literally.
knock him out.
Yeah.
Like a steel chair shot right in the head.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
52-23. Then they get blown up by the Alouettes 38-20. So that's not only that's 3 blow. So not only did they lose, but that's 3 blowouts in a row. And then they get blown out again. So you look, they lost by 12 points on September 6th, a double lead. They lost by 29 points the next game, another double-digit lead. 18 points the next game, another double-digit defeat, and 14 points. So that's 4 weeks in a row where they've lost by 12 or more. And this team, and look who they face next, the Bo Levi Mitchell Ticats.
whoa!
That could be another blowout
Really
loss.
tough game.
You're going into that with that kind of confidence. Oh my!
Ouch.
And with Bo Levi Mitchell feeling like he wants to have a revenge game.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, well, sure, we'll talk about this on a future episode going into the new week, right? But Bo Levi Mitchell versus VA could be a classic quarterback showdown of VAs back to the VA of old. So that'll be a very good game to talk about in future episodes.
Yeah, well, crazy, but I think it's time. We've talked about the CFL for a lot, and I think it's time we get into some Major League Baseball. And
Okay. Blue Jays. Let's play ball.
That's right. And it's been a crazy weekend for the baseball too. As the wild card is over now. We're all in the next round here, and I'm going to quickly go over each series before we talk about a specific series.
Yes.
Game 1 between the Milwaukee Brewers started on Saturday. A 9-3 win from the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to them nationally, Dan. The Milwaukee Brewers are one of these teams where they're real. I feel like this is a really scary ball club.
They're an incredible team. I think they could win the whole thing. I hate to say it.
They don't get a lot of credit, and they don't. This team gets overlooked by the Dodgers, and they get overlooked by the Phillies. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are a very scary team. You got guys like Bryce Turang and Willie Contreras and Christian Yelich, and they got some really good pitching there. I think this is a team that is very scary, and I think that they like this kind of underdog mentality because I feel like they can play with it really well.
Well, 100%. I don't know if it's because of location or maybe because they don't have one of those franchise players. I don't know what it
But
is,
they
but I feel
do.
like
They
yeah,
do, though. They have Reese Hoskins. You got Christian Yelich. You
that's
got
true.
Willison
That's true.
Contreras. You've got Bryce Turing. Bryce Turing is one of the best, like, I mean, not one of the best, but
Well,
he's
yeah,
definitely
for
up there as
sure.
one of the most, as one of the credible players in the National League. Like,
Well,
this is,
for sure.
they
I
do
just
have a
don't
lot of
know.
good players.
I don't know why we don't get the credit they deserve. I think they had the best record in the MLB. I think they
They
had like
did.
96 wins.
Yeah, they almost got your wins.
I know,
Let me just
almost 98, right? Like they were
let me just
very, very
check here,
good.
but
I think
yeah,
they
they
could win the whole thing.
97. They almost got what Dan thought the Jays would get.
97, yeah, and who are they playing in the series?
The Chicago Cubs to
Oh,
92 and 70, and it wasn't even close, right? You look at the Brewers stats, like Jackson Churro had 3 hits, 3
I know the
RBIs.
blowout, yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Turing had 2 hits on 5 at bats. Contreras, 2 hits at 5 on bats and an RBI. Christian Yelich went 1 for 4. Andrew Vaughn is a great player. There's Sal Frelick, Caleb Durbin. These players went off yesterday. Freddie Peralta pitched fantastic, 5 and 2/3 inning with 4 hits, 9 strikeouts. Aaron
Yeah.
Ashby, everyone settled down there. It wasn't even a game that felt close. Now they'll be playing tomorrow at 9 o'clock, game two against the Cubs. But I don't know about you. It just feels like this is not going to be even close of a series.
I was going to say, but the thing is, I think the Cubs are a pretty good team. I
They're all
know they
right. They're
struggled.
okay.
I know they struggled in the season a bit. I get that, but they won the World Series recently. They got a really good team. They got a great fan base. They got a legendary park. I don't think the Cubs are going to let Milwaukee win 3 games straight. I really don't.
For sure. Well, I hope
I
not.
think
But
I think the Cubs could win game 2.
right. Well, speaking of another game too that's coming up, I believe yes today. Well, we are past midnight, so it's not tomorrow. It's actually today. But another game too that's going to be coming up, and I could not believe this, was the Dodgers making a huge comeback when our former teammate Teoscar Hernandez hitting a
Yes.
3-run go-ahead game-winning home run over the Philadelphia Phillies at home.
Wow.
And just wow, I watched that game and I'm thinking, wow, the Phillies, they're up 3-0 on the Dodgers. This is a good place to be. They got a good lead. And the Phillies are this weird team too. They're like another team that's really weird, I find, where they get a lead and they come in the playoffs and this team looks so deadly, and you're like, oh, it's Bryce Harper. Oh, they've got Kyle Schwarber. Oh, they got Nick Castellanos. This is a great team. They got so many weapons. They got great pitching. They can do it. And then they just fall flat every year. I don't know what it is. They're honestly the Toronto Maple Leafs of the playoffs.
I
Want
know
to
you
be that
gotta wonder
honest?
that. Yeah, even when they had Roy Halladay back in the day, right? They had arguably one of the best Hall of Fame pitchers, one of the best pitchers of all time, and they had these great players, and they just don't get it done for
I
whatever
don't know what
reason.
it is. And here's again, they're 3-0 against Shohei Ohtani. They're pitching well. I'm thinking, oh, it's the sixth inning. They're 3-0. They're pitching well. This is going well for them. And then I look back 30 minutes later, it's 3-2, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden I see Teoscar Hernandez in the eighth inning hits a 3-run home run, and the Dodgers just shut it down with Rory
I
Saki,
mean,
with Mr. Saki there.
call me crazy, but maybe the Phillies have bad karma with Karen stealing balls from
Well,
kids
did you
there.
hear? I don't
Did
know.
you hear about the lawsuit?
Yeah, she wants to sue
Yes.
them.
Yeah, well, we haven't. But I said we'll talk about more of that in another episode. Want to get Jacob's opinion on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's some pretty crazy news. So I don't know. It would be a tough year for Philly because the LA Dodgers, they look really good too. I think that's going to be a really good tight series for those two teams.
Yeah, and another tight series going on right now is of course, the Detroit Tigers
Yes,
taking on the Seattle
holy
Mariners,
cow! I
and
was watching that one.
they
What
start.
a nail biter!
Yeah, you look at the scores, right? 3-2 yesterday, final Detroit Tigers, and then the Mariners flipped the script and said, "You like 3-2 games? We like 3-2 games too." And
Yeah,
it's,
literally. In T-Mobile Park, everyone was up on their feet, and it's like Vast Series. I think Vast Series and the series we were just talking about with the Dodger, I think those two series could go 5 games. I think they're
now
the tight series.
now the one disadvantage I will say for the Mariners, you did lose a game at home, and
Yes,
now you got to go
100%.
play in Comerica Park. You got to play 2 games back to back in Comerica Park. And they
Yes.
say you're never in trouble till you lose at home. And baseball
Right.
is even harder because you only have 5 games here. You're only going to get one more game at home. You're
Yeah.
playing them in like 66% of the series now away now, and you've already lost one at home. So that is a bit of a tougher hill to climb. Like if you're Detroit,
100%.
you're extremely happy because you stole game one, you lost game two, but you're expected to lose both the away games with the way the series technically goes. And in every series, you're supposed to lose your 2 games. You're not at home. I think if you're Detroit, you're absolutely stoked that you stole one up there in
Oh,
Seattle.
100%. It was amazing what Detroit did. And I share it's a topic we'll talk about in another episode with Jacob, but the MLB playoff format, I think it's crazy. It's only 5 games because these
Well, it's
series, I
7
mean,
after this, but yeah.
I understand that, but still, I mean, even this first series here has been incredible baseball in all 4 series, right? But I feel like with this Detroit team, I think they're making it very interesting. And even Seattle, there were some points this season we thought, oh, maybe Seattle won't make the playoffs this year, and they climbed back in. Then Seattle got home field away from Detroit. We thought that Detroit was going to be one of the best teams in the league, going to get home field for service playoffs. And like you said, Detroit came in and stole a game at home. So this series is going to get really interesting. And the fact that it's not blowouts either, both games are 3-2, it just makes it very tight for October baseball.
Now, we always save the best one. And you
100%.
want to talk about blowouts, so we're going to talk about some blowouts as the Toronto Blue Jays, the jersey that Dan is wearing right now. Let's full screen him up.
Guerrero
He's wearing his
Jr.
night mode, and boy, did they ever go night mode on the Yankees the last time.
Wow.
The Blue Jays offense has all of a sudden come alive, as Jeff Austin would like to say.
Yep.
Happy
Kid
time.
Cudi.
Kid Cudi. They have come alive. Have they ever?
They didn't even need Hoffman in this game.
No, they won.
To give him a night off.
They started off with a very impressive game with Vladdy Guerrero hitting his first home run of the postseason there on Saturday, October 4th. One of the first games, it was the second game of the day to start the ALDS, and the Blue Jays put up a big 10-1 win. Gausman, he got in some trouble there on Saturday, pitched out of it. We actually started doing, we'll tease it after, but me and Dan started doing a watch along for the virtual game, the show, and we will be doing game 3 tomorrow night. We'll be pre-recording it, having it up for Tuesday. So if you've been enjoying that, stay tuned because me and Dan will be back. Now, we're going to go based off the actual series, not the virtual game series. So we won't go that it's 1-1. We'll just go with whatever's happening. The virtual series is 1-1, but we'll see if the Jays can sweep it tomorrow in the series. But hopefully we'll see. But yeah, but the Jays, 10-1 for the Blue Jays on Saturday. And then this today, wow, they were asking Trey Savage, they went to him and said, how do you've never played more than 3 games at the major league level. How are you feeling? And he was like, bro, I got you. I was born for this.
22 years old.
22 years old, apparently born for something that the Jays haven't even been since he was born. But what was he ever born for? Because Trey Savage made the Yankees look like a single A minor league T-ball team today. 5 and 1 innings pitched. 1 walk, 0 hits, and this is the key here. 11 strikeouts.
Which is insane. And we're talking about a team with Aaron Judge and Statman and a big Bobby Mc, what's his name, bud?
Ryan McMahon.
Thank you. Ryan McMahon, they got on trade deadline, right? I was trying to say Bobby McMahon. I know he's a Maple Leaf on sport. But anyway, they got these big, heavy home run hitters. And the thing that was pointed out to me off camera is very interesting was that they weren't just, getting good calls and striking out that way. He was making these guys swing. All these strikeouts were on big swings. I'm like, holy cow. 11 strikeouts, postseason franchise record for the Blue Jays, and tied for 5th in all time as a rookie for most strikeouts in MLB
It
History.
was crazy.
History.
I didn't
But
get to catch. I didn't
I
get to.
got emotional. I was crying watching this. It
I
was
didn't get.
that
Now
good.
I didn't get to catch a lot of this game because I did have to drive to Milton
Right.
today. But when I was watching, I was just like, holy moly! It was just like left and right. He just, that little high throw and just these
Yeah.
pitches, and he was, and not even was he just getting them to strike. Every pitch was so accurate. It was like when he wanted to hit his spot, he hit it. Like he was not missing his fastball. When he wanted to hit right in the corner, it was perfection on the line every time. He was getting calls that normal players wouldn't get calls. Like he was getting his pitches right on the dot, making those Yankees swing. He was pitching strikes. He was pitching aggressive. He gave the Jays every chance to go up there. That crowd was rocking every single
Oh.
inning. He went up there and he struck out the side like 2 or 3 times. I think it was like the first 3 innings. He had like 8 strikeouts on 9 batters. I'm like, what's going on right now?
I know. What an amazing experience it was. I mean, the Rogers Center was the most I've seen in years, of almost 45,000 people in attendance. So many
Yeah,
standing room tickets were sold.
and then
I mean, standing room tickets were like $200 a pop, but it was well worth price of admission. I mean, even celebrities were up in the 500s this game. That's how hard seats were to get. John Tavares was there this game. Austin Matthews was there. This was a big old deal. I mean, this sets a big old deal from Euskabitz that Guerrero Jr. hit the first grand slam in playoff Blue Jays history, franchise history, which shocked me because you think of guys like Joe Carter doing this, right? But no, Vladdy hasn't been done yet. Guerrero Jr. did it today, and it's not the thing we're leading off the show with. That's how big 11 strikeouts is.
yeah, let's talk about that, right? The offense, not only did Trey Savage go up there and do what he needed to do, the offense was electric today, right?
Oh,
You
it was
talk about
nuts.
the third inning, Ernie Clement with a 2-run home run to start the game in the second inning. Then the third inning, they get a bunch of hits. They go up there and get a bunch of hits. Then the fourth inning was just a phenomenal. Every time you check the score, it was like, oh, this got a home run. These guys got a home run. Varsho got a home run. Springer got a home run. And then with the bases loaded, Vladimir Guerrero and his 5 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. We're gonna be here for a while. 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 $1 million contract. He blows the roof off the place, hits a grand salami out there, and puts up a 4-run grand slam. And I like that noise and the bat flip.
Yeah, it's a bat flip.
I'm like, and I hate to say because it's a Gen Z slang, but the aura was lit, fam.
Lit, fam. Like 420 Subaru.
It was
Dukes.
unbelievable, the team. But
Oh, yes.
we do have to talk about one thing though. The Jays, they had it was like a 11-run lead, and it almost kind of got scary there in the
It
seventh
got
inning.
very dicey.
Well, it didn't really. I mean, they were still up by 6 runs, but
Yeah, but just the fact that he let the Yankees build momentum, that's kind of scary.
So that's
going
what I
to
was
game
going to ask
3,
you.
right?
Do you think this is a bad thing that the Yankees kind of got some late game momentum, or
I hate to say it, but yeah, I
garbage?
think it is. I think
Yeah,
it
but
is.
you could also, I was talking to Jacob earlier about this before leaving, and he didn't really care. He's like, it's like when you watch a CFL game and a team's winning 60-12. It's like, okay, if they only get 3 touchdowns, it's garbage time. They're probably putting up their
Yeah,
worst.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
their worst pitchers. They're not really caring anymore. They probably put half their players on the bench. Like, who cares?
Well, that's the scary part, though, for me, Mr. Dasko. It wasn't. They didn't put in the garbage pitchers. They went to their bullpen. You got.
But they did. They put Lauer and Nance. Those aren't your best pitchers, though.
Well, that's true. But they also put in Sergey Mendez, and
yeah, but he was fine. Varland did. Yeah, but you look at everybody else did their job, right? Brule, yeah, he gave up 2 runs, but he got out of the inning. Braden Fisher went up there, faced 1 batter, got a strikeout. Lauer and Nance kind of, Amber Hearded the bed there. Ian Mason Fluharty went up there, got his out.
Fluharty, that's the name.
Louis Varland went up there, pitched 1
inning.
Varland
played well.
Didn't give up anything. And then Dominguez, he gave up 2 walks, but he also got 2 strikeouts and got the win.
That's true. Yeah. The key is you got to save Jeff Hoffman for game 3.
And that's the thing too, right? You got like Bieber pitching. I think the Jays are in a good spot right now. You got your 2 wins. You beat up on the Yankees. You've got double-digit runs, back-to-back games. I think that's huge for their confidence. The offense seems alive. The offense is back in motion. They're back with their confidence.
Yeah.
And now you got Shane Bieber, who you acquired at the trade deadline. That was
Yes.
your big trade deadline acquisition. You
Yes.
got Shane Bieber going into Yankee Stadium to try to sweep the Yankees. Do I think they're going to sweep them? Probably not. But
I don't think so
but you
either.
got probably one of your best pitchers, and this is what we were talking about before this series. Jacob, Jacob Moore, the sports analyst, giving a lot of credit. He said he would. This is exactly what he did, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, we gotta go back and replay that moment when Jacobson make a short video of it or something when he was talking about it. We all thought that Bieber would get game 2, and so did the big string media with TSN and Sportsnet. We all thought Bieber get game 2. He gave us get game 3. They were like, no, you don't want to start him in game 3. You want to start him in game 2 if one of the home crowd save Bieber for the road, and that's exactly what happened. So that's why he's the analyst. That's why he's the expert. He's glued to his decks and he's getting stuff done, right? So good on him with that.
That was a good
Uh,
call.
yeah, very good call. It shocked everybody, right? And I think the Blue Jays are going to win the series. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think the
No, I
Yankees
don't either.
do
But
good.
if you
You
do
know,
want to see if it could be a sweep, once again, I just want to say, me and Dan Moore here are the
yes.
are your broadcast team for MLB The Show 25 virtual playoff series, and we'll be again. I'm glad to see the love and the response that those have gotten. They've got over each one has gotten over 100 views on
Over
Facebook.
200 views now for each.
200 views for this game that we uploaded twice, by the way. You guys liked it so much you watched the same game twice, so thank you very much. But yeah, we love you guys and thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. And I'm glad you guys are liking this esports content. If there's anything else you want video game content, you guys want me to do a franchise on the Maple Leafs, or you guys want to watch, Toronto versus Montreal season opener, who's going to win? If you guys want to watch the NFL, if you guys want there's an NFL game you guys want us to play by, just let us know. We'll hook you up. We'll put it on the analyst desk for you. We'll give you some commentary. We'll put that game up there. We'll give you the content you guys want. You just got to let us know. You see the email down there. Just give us a quick old email. Anything you guys want to talk about, see, that's what we're here on the desk. We're here to just entertain you guys and give you guys a great show.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to all the new followers and likes and comments and everything. We really appreciate it. And we know esports is sports, right? It's a big part of our community here on the decks. And I've been really enjoying doing it with Mr. Dasco. So we'll keep go do game 3 again on Monday here, get up on Tuesday, and we'll see what the video game predicts and how close it's going to be in real life. And I'm sure we'll have this conversation when Jacob's on the show, but just to tee it up, I think if the Yankees lose this series, finally Boone will get fired.
It's definitely a possibility for Aaron Boone to lose his job. I could see it, but
Yeah.
it's just weird, right? Like this is the Yankees team, I just want to quickly look. They're not doing anything wrong. Like Aaron
No.
Judge is still doing really well, and everyone's like, "Oh, Aaron Judge doesn't do well in the postseason." I kind of just
I
like I
think he's played well.
think he's done exactly what he wanted to do. Like he's got 2 hits. Yesterday he got 2 hits on 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 3 at-bats, and RBI. No home runs. I know that's kind of what you don't expect from him, but he's still getting his hits. He's got, like 4 hits at 7 at-bats. I think that's still pretty good for Mr. Judge.
Yeah, I think now we're just seeing why Guerrero got $500 million here. I mean,
Well,
he's
that's the thing, right? Like before, we were kind of questioning it. You and me, and a lot of people were questioning that contract, right? Is he worth the 500 million? Should he?
I
go
always
on?
liked it.
I personally thought it was a little much because again, you can go back to what Jacob said earlier, right? Like where was the playoff performance, right? We had never seen, you had 7. This is their 9th year as I think 8th or 7th year as an actual unit with these two guys, and we
Right.
had never really seen anything from them. He just got his first home run. He's earning it now, but you can definitely make the argument up until this point he didn't. They weren't really earning that.
Yeah, for
contract.
sure. I understand that. Yeah.
But you know what? Whatever, bygones be bygones. That's in the past, and you know what? The Jays right now are in a really good spot to hopefully sweep the Yankees. I don't think that will happen, but hey, I didn't think they would be up to. I thought it'd be 1-1 going until the third game.
Me
So
too. Yeah.
I'm a pretty happy customer right now that the Jays are in the situation that they're in. But
100%.
before we go, I just thought we'd quickly touch on it. You know, the NHL is
Yes.
right around the corner here, and
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Hockey's back, baby.
the preseason is officially over now. It ended on Saturday night, which means we, as a unit, probably our next pre-record is probably going to be all NHL related because we got to do our season predictions. We got to see. So expect that coming soon because we got to get, as a unit, we got to get Jacob on here. We got to do some season previews where we think teams are going to finish, who what awards. So we got to get on that quickly because the season starts on Tuesday night and the Leafs start on Wednesday night.
That's right.
So it's coming quickly. But yeah, how excited are you? Excited for the NHL season?
I'm super excited. I'm super excited to start an NHL season from scratch on the analyst decks. This is huge to have it right from preseason to beginning of the season into the playoffs. We'll have the whole year of pre-records, live shows, post games, pre-games, season predictions. It's going to be a phenomenal season with all of you here. So I'm super excited. But yeah, some interesting moves. Battle of Florida, both games were not over 500 penalty minutes between those two games. So that's going to definitely set a tone with Battle of Florida, which kind of feels like how the Battle of Alberta and Battle of Ontario used to feel. And then, unfortunately, little disappointing news. I feel Maple Leafs plays that Purcell guy. Pasta, I don't want to pronounce his name, but that guy from Fourth Liner Montreal, the scrappy guy, on waivers, which I'm very disappointed.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, he didn't really do much.
I definitely see him. I think we need a tough guy still in the lineup. I understand he's not going to play every game, but when you go into like a Florida, I want someone like that on my lineup. So hopefully no one picks him up on waivers, but we did place a couple other people on waivers too. But that was the main name. I was like, whoa, And there's a lot of controversy about James Weimer and the PTO contract, but let's be honest, it was a PTO contract. And as of now, we haven't seen Weimer sign an NHL contract. He did play in the game in Detroit, which was an overtime loss. He made 20 saves on 23 shots. So the $1 million question is, coming into the season here, do you think Weimer will get an NHL contract? I imagine if he will, it'll be a league minimum 1 year, $900,000 type of contract. But do you think he'll get with Mr. Dasko?
Yeah, I think he will because we don't know when Wall is going to be back. So I think just by default, I think James Reimer will get it just so they can have a third.
I think Wall was at the Blue Jay game, mind you.
Was he?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think they'll keep him on. He could be your Martin Jones for the year, right? Even if he's a third stringer, keep him in the Marlies, and if you ever need him, you got someone who's got a lot of playoff. You got a lot of playing experience. You got someone who's familiar with the franchise. He knows the room. He knows the team. He knows what it's been through. He knows how to play in a scary market, as Mitch Marner would say it. So I think he's going to be fine. But
on a quick note, something that happened today that surprised me. Chicago signed Matt Grzelcyk to a 1 year, $1 million contract. I think this is a fantastic move for Chicago. They need someone to play with Connor Bedard. I understand he's a defensive specialist, but I think he's 31-year-old defenseman. He had 40 points or so in Pittsburgh. I think he's a great set-down defenseman, really known his Boston days, bringing some much-needed leadership in Chicago dressing room. I think that was a bargain of a deal of a contract. So if Chicago suffers again, look for him being moved on trade deadline for sure.
Yeah, well, for sure. But, I think that's all we have to say for today.
I think so. We're getting tired of the decks here as it's 1:22 in the morning.
Well, nothing like a little bit of rock music before we head out. And I just want to say once again, thank you for everyone. If you stick through, if you came in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if you stayed for the whole show, you stayed for 2 minutes. Just want to say thank you once again. Please like and subscribe. Let us know what you're feeling. And of course, we were here at the analyst desk where every day feels like game day.
You got it.
Is Dan, more for your money.
Woo!
I'm Dashing Lane Dashko, and we'll see you next time on the desk. Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow for Game 3 in Virtual Land, Blue Jays versus Yankees, MLB for show. Let's go.
We'll see you on the desk. Good night, everybody.